All right, so we'll go to our third story here. Comic-Con this month, San Diego Comic-Con, July, one of the biggest events on the comic book calendar. Although this year, not a whole lot from the stuff that most people pay attention to nowadays. No MCU presentation that we know of. Doesn't seem like DC is going to have a real big presence there. And so the focus will actually be back on the comic books. Mike, I know you're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with you in Comic Con this year, but do you like the fact that SDCC might actually be more focused on comics again, as opposed to the multimedia presentation points?
I'm really excited about that. And I like the fact that they're highlighting the creators, the artists, the writers. So I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, I got picked to help the comic book historians do a panel this year
Yep.
at Comic Con. So I'm very excited about my panel and
You're getting to
Bill
talk
and
Flash at Comic Con,
I
my
get to
friend. That
talk
is
about the Flash at
fantastic.
Comic Con with my friends Bill and Alex, the comic book historians. So I'm very excited about that. But I am kind of um, excited to see a Comic Con that's not all based on other media besides
The
comics.
MCU and yeah.
Yeah. And I know Frank Miller's going to be there, Jim Lee's going to be there. There's going to be a lot of people there that are creators, and I'm excited. I'm excited for that. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. You never know with Comic Con. There could be a surprise. The Fantastic Four show up in costume, and something like
Then
that
take
could
over
happen.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, you still know what's going to happen. But as of right now, it looks like it's going to be very creator focused. So
No, congrats to you on getting to do a panel. I know that's been a dream for you for a while, so that's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes for you and everything. Really hoping that is excellent. I think I hope there's no MCU surprise. I hope there's no huge DC surprise. I love that it's back on the comic books. Look, you and I, we led this thing talking about movies, and we love the comic book movies and all the multimedia aspects of it. But comic books have become such an afterthought, and I like that there might be a huge San Diego Comic Con event that still seems to have some juice behind it and energy that might just be focused on the comic books again. And then I think one of the worst things as comic book fans, you and I appreciate the multimedia aspect, but those little floppy comic books are what we actually care about more than anything else. And
yes,
so
that's true.
I love that that's getting the attention. I hope it makes these companies bring their A game. I hope there's some huge announcements as far as books and talent on the books and things like that. I am hoping that it truly will be a Comic Con that has a spotlight on the comics because that might mean the comic companies will grab that attention and jolt some life into the comic book industry that really, really needs it. I think it's great. And again, one of the things is Hollywood is good at a lot of things, but one thing that they're not real good at is they're not good at long-term thinking for the industries. And so I think they maybe, we'll see if Superman revives the box office for it. Hollywood might be soaking the last few drops out of that towel of creative thinking from the comic book realm and
Right.
leaving it dry and broken. And so, as comic book fans, Hollywood's not really cared what they've done to the industry that much. And so I do think it's time to start focusing on the books again and get these things that used to just be about the creators and the artists and, hey, this book's coming out and this book's coming out and all that. So I'm all for seeing a return to it as much as, you and I have talked about this. It's shocking, but the prevalence of movies being these billion-dollar things for 20 years now hasn't really helped comic books. If anything, I think we've had a net negative. And so I'm all for Comic Con being more about the comics. I'd be completely happy with, hey, comic book movies going back to, hey, we get one or two a year, one,
Yeah.
maybe some years. So I think it's
Yeah.
a good thing. I think it's good. Looking forward to your panel on the Flash, my friend. Congrats on that. Let us
Thank
know.
you.
What do you guys think down below? What do you think about San Diego Comic Con being a little more focused on the comics this year? Is that something you're looking forward to, excited about, or do you think it's a bad thing overall for the industry? Let us know what you think on that. We